In another development, a federal lawmaker representing Rivers East Senatorial District, Senator George Sekibo, is insisting that the sum of 13.3 billion naira recovered by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) in Osborne Towers, Ikoyi, Lagos State, belongs to Rivers State government. Raising a point of order at plenary, Senator Sekibo expressed concern over what he termed the politicization of the money recovered, adding that he was sure that after investigations, it will be revealed that the money belongs to Rivers State government.
Mr. President, we are worried of the claims of the DGNIA and even the Attorney General of the Federation that the money belonged to the NIA agency, and that was put there in that apartment in 2015 for covert operations. We are worried because at the head of every budget year, every such fund that are not used by any agencies are usually returned to the coffers of the Federation through the central bank. That was not done. We are coming back again to say that that money that is found in flat 7B, because we have done our independent investigation, belongs to Rivers State government. We are blowing the whistle for the second time.
However, a federal lawmaker also from Rivers State, Senator Magnus Abe, has cautioned Senator Sekibo against raising false alarm over the recovered 13.3 billion naira from Osborne Towers in Ikoyi, Lagos State.
The only problem I have with what happened on the floor of the Senate today is that as a people, we run the risk of politicizing the entire exercise if we continue to go about this thing in a manner that does not show seriousness. My advice to Senator George Thompson Sekibo, and indeed to other people who have useful information that will help in establishing the truth of the matters about the Ikoyi loot find, is that such information that is available to them should be forwarded to the appropriate authorities for proper investigation.
On April 12th this year, operatives of Anti-Graft Agency (EFCC), acting on a tip-off by a whistleblower, invaded an apartment in Osborne Towers, Ikoyi, Lagos, and recovered $43 million, 23 million naira, and another 27,000 pounds. President Buhari set up a committee headed by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo to investigate the funds recovered by the EFCC.
Now let's look at more activities in the National Assembly during the week.
President Buhari has written to both chambers of the National Assembly seeking approval for a $6.926 billion loan by the federal government. The letter was read in both chambers of the National Assembly. According to the President, $5.851 billion of the loans will be from the China Exim Bank for major railway projects across the country, while $1.75 billion will be provided by the World Bank for procurement of polio vaccine, reconstruction and rehabilitation of the northeastern part of the country.
Honourable members, an expeditious consideration and approval of this request will go a long way in bringing stability to the Northeast and improvement in our infrastructure, and by extension, a general improvement in the economy and livelihood of our great people. In view of the above, the honourable members are invited to urgently consider and approve all the above projects totaling a sum of $6.926 billion to enable us commence the reconstruction and rehabilitation of the Northeast, provide for the poor and most vulnerable people, and commence the rail projects in earnest.
Meanwhile, during the week, the minority leader of the House raised the motion on the need to prevent the erosion of the doctrine of separation of powers in the nation's democratic practice.
A statement was credited to the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, to the effect that the appointment of the chairman of the EFCC does not require confirmation of the Senate in line with Section 171 of the 1999 Constitution as amended.
This statement, according to the lawmakers, is the problem.
The Vice President, if he has made that statement, number one, he has usurped the power of the courts to interpret the Constitution. And I believe that the EFCC is not an arm of any parastatal that you can just wield the appointment without the confirmation of the Senate.
One by one, the lawmakers throw their weight behind the motion, which is calling on the House to urge officials of the executive to refrain from making statements that makes it appear they're taking over the powers of the judiciary. The motion also calls on the House to urge President Muhammadu Buhari to approach the court for interpretation of any conflict in the EFCC Act. But one lawmaker calls for caution.
Is to set aside the 3 resolutions as canvassed by the Honorable Minority Leader and substitute it with one resolution, and that is to investigate the veracity of the information that has been so credited to the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against it say nay. The nays have it.
Another amendment proposing that the National Assembly approach the court instead of urging the President to do so suffers a similar fate.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against it say nay. The nays have it.
The Speaker then puts the motion itself to a voice vote.
Those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it.
The House Committee on Legislative Compliance has been directed to ensure that these resolutions are implemented.